This is Tom with the Crypto Crew. Many of you probably know me, probably seen me. I'm going to tell you about my first encounter with Bigfoot. Now, I've never really told this before. I've never told it in any great detail. A lot of times, we get asked about kind of what got you into Bigfoot and that type of stuff. Growing up, I had seen the Patterson film. I guess I seen it on the news. I guess I was around, 8 or 10 year old or something. I don't know. But it was interesting at the time, I guess, and I didn't think a whole lot about it, supposedly, And, well, anyways, this happened in 1985. In March of 1985, and there's a couple of reasons why I can remember the date. I had to look it up to make sure, but I can remember that St. John's University was playing Kentucky in the NCAA championship. That kind of helped me remember the date, and also this happened about 2 weeks before my grandfather passed away. I was 15-year-old. And it was about 6 months before my 16th birthday. Me and my dad always coon hunted, and that's one of the things I did growing up. We used to coon hunt a lot. Well, we was out coon hunting one night, and I still frequent the area now. It's in behind my house. We was coon hunting one night, and when you're 15-year-old and you coon hunt, most of the time you get to pack the shotgun or the .22 rifle or whatever you're hunting with. It's usually if you're young, you get to pack it. And we was going around through there, and then all at once there was just a scary, creepy feeling in the air. And we've hunted all over the place, middle of the night, top of the mountains, This was an unusual feeling that came in the air. It was just a scary. My dad always described it as kind of a evil feel, and it was. And our dogs, which were experienced hunting dogs, they had ran back to us, scared. They was terrified, actually, and they got in between our legs, and they was barking up in the mountains like you would if it was an intruder or on your property. It was barking that way. And of course we were scared, but neither one of them, me or my dad, neither one really said anything at this time. So we kind of pet the dogs and try to get them to go on. Well, they run out, and both of them come right back, scared to death, barking. And as we're walking around this road, and we're moving slow by now because we're both scared, and my dad does finally say, can you feel that, or something along those lines. And as we're walking to our left, it's in the fall of the year, coon hunting time. You can hear something as we walk. You can hear it going through the leaves on the side of the mountain. And we're both packing battery lights, just like they use in the coal mines. They're strong, powerful lights. They're wheat lights is what we call them. That's what they are. And we could take those wheat lights and we would shine in there right where that sound was, and we couldn't see it. But as quick as we put the lights back down and we walked a little bit, you could hear it crunching the brush and stuff to our left. Because to our left was a high wall, probably, I'll say maybe 40 or 50 feet high. Maybe not that much. It's hard to remember, I guess. And the land's changed a little bit now. But the further we go, this thing's following us, and our dogs are scared, and we're shining our lights in there and we can't see it. And my dad gets the gun back from me because he's scared, and he's scared as well. And we finally go so far, and the feeling of fear is just in the air, and it gets so much that we turn around, we go back. We come on back home. And we went as far as we could because the fear and stuff was so heavy in the air. And we turned around, and as we walked back, we got to a certain point, like there was a little draw up a hollow, and after we passed it, the thing quit following us. And so that feeling of that feeling of fear left us. And so, but we came on home, and I think at the time we told my mother about it, but we never did talk about it a whole lot. I mean, we told a few people, local people, but I've never put it out like I am now. I mean, I've never wrote about it really. I mean, I've mentioned it vaguely that I had an experience while coon hunting when I was younger, but I've never put it out like I have now. At the time, I didn't think nothing about it being Bigfoot. I know it was scary. I know I wanted to get out of there. But at the time, I didn't think nothing about it being a Bigfoot. There's no way it was a bear. A bear wouldn't know to hide when we shined our lights in there. Our dogs would not have been afraid of a bear. Wasn't no kind of cat, because our dogs would have been afraid of a cat. We'd killed a bobcat before with our dogs. And the one dog had ran a bear before. So it wouldn't a known animal to us, and it wasn't a known animal to our dogs. And I guess now that I look back on it, that feeling of fear in the air, and how it was hiding, and we could hear it breaking the brush. It had to be a Bigfoot. But like I said at the time, I didn't think nothing about it. And being 15, almost 16 years old, after a few days, I probably didn't think a whole lot more about it. I mean, I remembered it over the years. But it's one of those events that sticks out in your mind. Like for my generation, about everybody can remember where they was at and what they was doing when the space shuttle Challenger blew up. For my dad's generation, they remember where they were at when JFK was shot and killed. It was an event similar, to that. It stuck in my mind all these years. And at the time, like I said, I didn't think nothing about it being Bigfoot. But years later, as I got into first started with online research of Bigfoot, I began to realize what it was. And in this area alone, there's been several sightings right here, right around my house. We live way back in the mountains, kinda. But back then, as a kid, I guess a young man or young boy, whatever you want to call it, I probably didn't dwell on it a whole lot. I was too busy playing basketball or fishing or something like that. But as I got older, there's probably not a day goes by that I don't think about Bigfoot one way or the other. But when you have an event like that, it doesn't matter how many years have passed, you'll remember it. But I've never shared this report or this encounter that I had, but I thought I'd take the time today to do it. It's early in the morning. I have a lot to do, I don't guess, today. I got some wait time I got to do, but there's just no way it was another animal. The dogs are terrified, so when I see people talking about dogs being friends with Bigfoot, I just don't see it. We had trained, skilled hunting dogs. They was terrified, tail stuck between their legs, going in between our legs and hiding and barking like it was an intruder. These dogs was terrified. So when somebody says that their dog's made a friend with Bigfoot, I can't see it. I just don't believe it. I'd have to see it to believe it, I suppose, because my experience with it has been totally opposite of that. Maybe over time a dog might be able to become a friend or something with a Bigfoot, but I don't see it. if these trained hunting dogs that killed coons and bobcats and ran bear, if they was terrified of this, what makes you think that just a common yard dog or a pet dog, you know, which these dogs were also our pet dogs, I suppose, would be friends with it? Or I don't know, it just seems weird to me. Maybe it has something to do with that feeling of fear in the air. I guess some people, I guess that's what they call the infrasound or whatever. But for me, I don't know. I don't really know if Bigfoot does infrasound, but that night there, it was very terrifying. It's just the feeling in the air, and it's an evil type feeling. This is how my dad always described it. Was it actually infrasound, or was it just our natural fear? It's built in us. I don't know, but I have experienced that feeling of fear and dread a few other times, you know, as I got older, and I actually done Bigfoot research over the years. But I guess maybe you get accustomed to it, or you get used to it, or whatever. But I don't know. Man, that was just a weird feeling that night. It's been a long time. But man, that was scary. And I just wanted to share. I don't want to get too emotional or anything, but it's funny now that it was so scary back then to me. But now I get out and I try to hunt that. I try to track that and try to find it, and I have found, you know, things to deal with Bigfoot. But just I just wanted to share that encounter. I've never told it in detail, but that was an experience when I was like I say, I was 15 and a half years old, about 6 months before my birthday, and I'm closing in on 46-year-old now, and it's stuck with me all these years. Still remember a lot of details about it. Been right in that area many times looking. It's changed some because of they've done some dozer work or stripping or something there, and it's kind of changed the landscape a little bit. But there's not a whole lot of that goes on anymore around here as strip mining or coal mining, and I know around that area where we've chased coons there and caught coons for years, which we don't coon hunt now, but I know there was a lot of old mine openings and a lot of auger holes and things like that. So, you know, I guess a Bigfoot could get in the old mines and stay warm or shelter or whatever, but I just wanted to share that with you, because I've never told it. And I thank you, and thanks for listening to my little story about that, and I've got some other things maybe I want to share in the future. And y'all have a blessed day.